Bad little flex, she wanna know me. I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby, let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one. So what it's gonna be? Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Riding on a team, got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I hit the town, you should lie on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all love. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love. Know it's all love. I'm feeling like the man lately. Can't nobody do it like I can daily. Baddest in the lattice in the land. Body turn your nigga to a fanny up. I made it where I'm at on my own. Had a couple blocks in the road, but I get to the bag on the loan. I be counting stacks while they grow. Yeah, you know me. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I come in town, you should lie on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me.
Welcome. How's it going, Dust?
All is well.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Get Your Mind Right, Thursday's weekly show. Following the Dustosphere. Hope everyone's having a good night. Had a chance to check out the Dustosphere, and if you don't, check out the replay. I just can't help but just laugh. But
Yeah,
we're gonna be serious.
Special appearance premiere of our newest, most talented actress, Coach K. She was able to participate. That was really entertaining.
I just can't. I'm just still I just want to laugh at everything right now. But welcome everyone. Like on your way in. Thanks for being here. So I'm excited for tonight's show. We're waiting for Big Al. No problem at all. She's on her way, but Dusto has graciously taken, her spot to co-host for a little bit with me. It's so hard for me to think that you're not going to just joke around, but we're going to talk about past and our future, but mostly what we think about the past. And we're going to look at relationships. So, Dusto, what do you think about people using their past in terms of relationships and what that means for their future? What are your thoughts on that, just generally?
Interesting topic, because I've seen some people even have similar pasts. Two people can have similar pasts and then have a different future, because in their mind, what their present is actually being different. For example, I'm single. I'm not married. I've dated some women who were excellent. No problem. Of course, we didn't get married, so ended up, you can say it's a failure. But I have good things to say because those are positive experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not tainted saying, oh, all these women are going to fall apart like something in the past. I decided, you know what? There was something positive happened in the past. I know what I was missing. So in my future, I could probably have a better outcome. But I've even known people who dated decent women, and then that last one, for some reason, just clicked a switch, and somewhere in their brain, they're disconnected. And all women are all of a sudden bad. And they don't even see the positive in the past. All they see is the negative. All they remember is the trauma of them leaving or it not working. They forgot about how good it was when things were working. So that's their mind. I'm going to lose. I'm going to fail. I've seen that. That's not good.
Yep. And that's exactly it. I think that a lot of times And I've been guilty of this too, but it's easy to think, well, this happened to me, so I got to be on the lookout in a way to protect myself. It's all in, just protecting yourself and to not get hurt. I have to be on the lookout for these things. Otherwise, it's going to happen again. So my lack of trust or my walls being up, it's non-negotiable because I was hurt my last relationship. So I'm going to treat this person with these things, even though they did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? And then what happens?
Did you self-sabotage?
I mean, that's basically what people do, but they just act like an asshole, but because they're trying to protect themselves versus what are you thinking about it currently? You know what I mean? And doing what you need to do in that moment. But the person that you're, interested in or looking to date didn't do anything to you. Why do they deserve that, that defensiveness, for example? You know what I'm talking about?
Did you communicate to the person the reason that you were the way you were
Oh, no.
during the process? No?
No, people just do that. Like, I think people they just do this. And it's like, it's a no-brainer to them. Like, it's justified. Yes, Jenny, we've all experienced bad relationships and carried all that baggage with a broken wheel over to the new one. Yeah. And I think people don't even notice, but even when they do notice, it's justified. I see that a lot.
Of course, I'm a man, so I've only dated the women. I've only mainly heard their side of the story.
Right.
So I meet women and they say stuff like, what's the example? Well, I've done this in the past, and every time I date a guy and every time this happens. So I'm not going to do that no more. The next man got to prove himself.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm not going to engage in this because every time this happens, I get hurt. Or all these men ain't going to do nothing but this anyway. All the men ain't going to do this and they can't do this. Where can I ever find a person who's like this?
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be when I was younger, I'd fall for the sob story and think, I'm going to show you something different.
Right.
And then they would
Right. I'm going
sabotage
to
and
change
go right back. And they would go right back to the next person
Mm-hmm.
or the next very thing that they just came from and go do it
Mm-hmm.
again. And as I got older, I started to listen more. And sometimes like, look, well, I need this. So if you're broken, you can either work with me through the trauma or you can just go and do what you're going to do and call me when. And I find that to be a lot more peaceful. And a lot of them, they just keep spinning in circles. They don't fix it.
Yes. So.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask a question.
No, you go ahead.
What is it like dealing with the guy? What is it like on your end? Dealing with the guy who says, I don't trust women. They get to a point and then they say they're stuck here. They can't go no further because you're going to run out with them. You're going to divorce and take half. Or have you ever experienced a guy who had that mindset?
Well, not necessarily that, but I did experience, like, for example, I'll use my own relationship where, and I've shared this many times, I'm not afraid to tell people that I was not a nice girlfriend. I was I was just a bitch. Like, I would just nitpick things and, like, just all these expectations or whatever. And hey, I'm always want to say email. Yeah, what's going on? I always want to say, like, I just, he would have to call me or he'd have to text me, and if he, like, didn't respond in a way that whatever, just stupid, like, just expectations, then I would get shitty and he had to read my mind, whatever. But then when I, turned everything around, long story short, he had to basically trust me again. You know what I mean? Which was hard. And couldn't I couldn't be mad because I had, really tainted his view of me, So I had to be understanding of that, but I also had to like encourage him to give me a chance. So it was kind of like that equal understanding, I think. So I haven't really had men necessarily like bring baggage necessarily. I'm usually the one that brought the baggage, I'm sure.
Mm.
But hey Marcus, how's it going?
What's going on,
And then
Marcus?
the beautifully animated says she doesn't let outsiders change me. I'm going to do me, which is doing for my man. I'm not going to treat my man like shit because of what happened with the last dude. Yeah, right. But I think where the yes, well, technically engaged, but pretty much, yeah. I am married. But what I find is a lot of people are just going through the motions or, whatever, interested in someone else, but they are carrying their past in their mind without even realizing it. So whether it's what they think about men, what they think about relationships, what they think about marriage, what about a successful marriage, it's all recycled thoughts from the past or what they've seen in the past, but it's their thinking now. You know what I mean? And they don't realize. And you hit it like nail on the head at the beginning. But what I want to share with people the most is your past. Give me an example of something that happened in your past, like a funny thing or like crazy situation, whatever. Like share a quick story about your past.
Good story.
Whether it's embarrassing or whatever, doesn't matter.
A dating story? Shady one?
Sure, yeah.
What's the shady one?
Oh,
Time thing.
a shady one?
Girl, I lived in Houston. She lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was visiting Houston when I met her. Cool. We used to talk on the phone a lot, and it was cool. So we're going to meet halfway in Dallas. I paid for a room. We're going to meet. We just talk every day for a couple months almost. We meet in Dallas, and we're hanging out, and it's cool. And she decides, hey, I'm tired. I'm just going to sleep. I'm like, that's hella rude. That's just, how about no? Then it's like, okay, well, cool. I'm going to go to Walmart. I need to do something. Then I'll come back. Oh, I'm going to stay asleep. Then starts doing homework and just pretty much ignoring me. And I could have had a better conversation. Instead, I was just pretty, all right, I'm going to be ignored. And I start being rude. She just gets up and leaves. So I'm wasted a whole, I'm glad I only booked for one day. Smart me. But a waste of 4 hours and a waste of chilling with this person.
Right.
Yeah, it was a waste. And I was pretty mad.
Dumbass.
Yeah, looking back now,
Yeah,
I should have known her personality. I should have knew more because the hints were there in our conversation.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. End up just wasting. Oh, go ahead.
So when you're thinking about that situation, and there may have been signs or whatever, but it turned out exactly as it was supposed to because that's how it happened. But when you think about that past, story, and then you go into a relationship, what do you like? That situation does not affect you even today. Like, was that affecting you like earlier today before I asked you about it?
No, it didn't affect me, but 2 days until I go meet the next person.
Well, yeah, but like, why doesn't that affect you?
It affected me in the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
In my mind, I just made a decision. I know I can say it. I was military when I was 18. I used to hide from problems and sometimes half do and be lazy about stuff, complain, play victim. When I was 18, I was in the Army, and there is no back door to run out of. You're either going to be a soldier or you're not. And
Yeah.
after realizing that's the solution, running full speed and knocking out problems and don't run out the back door, I just started applying that to the rest of the things in my life. So this woman didn't work out. So my mind, I'm upset, I'm agitated. I need to hurry
Yeah.
up and go get me somebody else to
Right.
replace this that wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So not too much longer. I think it was January. I met this cute nurse, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember that other person's name. Pretty
Well,
much.
okay, that is an option. Marcus says, have y'all ever been through or know someone who has been through a situation where red flags may not show, but subconsciously may have gone over their head when, as a child, the child may have been affected? Do you know
Let me
what he
read that
means by
again.
that?
Can you put it back up? I don't know someone who's been through a situation where red flags not show. Constantly gone through over the head.
Oh, like maybe they
That
went through
comes in
something
time.
like
Yeah.
through childhood as a result from over listening or relative conversation or bad advice from family and friends. Well, yeah, okay. So this is like the biggest thing, and that's a great question, Marcus. So with childhood stuff too, and I kind of like wanted to get into it with Mr. Let Go on the Lapeef Thursday show, was, you know, like rehashing childhood. I think it can be very powerful to, you know, look at childhood and whatever things happened. If you want to throw up that disclaimer, Jetty, you know, do so. Again, this is not, you know, medical advice or anything like that. This is just my opinion. But in a intention, or, you know, to um but this is intended on helping people and to empower them, basically, and to move forward. So um basically, you know, you can look back on your childhood, work through it with someone else, and you might find some understanding, but rehashing it and rehashing it and rehashing it and rehashing it and rehashing it to, and then making that mean today whatever it is, that's why we want to bring that stuff that's in the subconscious, you know, in your subconscious mind to the forefront. What, that's when, you know, you have to take accountability to be
Mhm.
aware of your behavior. Now, if you're, you know, if in the past your parents, I don't know, we could come up with so many examples, but let's say in the past, like your parents fought or whatever. So this means, you know, whatever you want to make it mean, but you want to decide. You want to be specific with what you're making that mean. Because Dusta, with that girl, that situation, it happened whenever it did, but it's not affecting you today. You literally get to decide what you want to think about it. Like, how do I
Yeah.
know?
I made it a learning experience.
Right. And also too, go ahead.
I have been around 20s, time after time. I'm going to say it. I wasn't told how to date. And I also didn't start dating till late.
Mm-hmm.
So where everybody else is dating and kissing and texting with the beepers and all that with the girl, I was doing nothing. So not till I was
Mm-hmm.
18, 19 in the Army, I'm starting trying to date. Some years behind.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to college, and it's nothing but a whole bunch of beautiful women. And I can go and attract them, get numbers all day. And then numbers come into my phone, numbers go out. Because I did not,
Mm-hmm.
and that cycle kept repeating. And I just didn't know what the problem. And then I just got mad at women, got sick of them. And I almost went on red pill rage.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in that phase before. I'm talking to them. Look, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. Leave me alone. If you say this, I'm hanging up. For a short period of time. So I've actually been in that mindset. But I still
Mm-hmm.
had something in me that's, if I find somebody I like, I'm still wasn't born yesterday. So before I moved to Houston, there was a girl I met and I liked her. All that went right
Mm-hmm.
back out the window. I was dealing with her. I wasn't Mr. Angry, mad at the women no more. But I kept that
Right.
piece of something is positive. And I lived off of that piece. Like if opportunity presents, something is still positive. Where I see a lot of people who don't even have that anymore. Everything is negative. One more
That
trauma and they're done.
that's
And
such a good point. Um, and Jenny says, is it true that kids who have experienced trauma, that's their emotional age? For example, if you experience some messed up things at 6, are you stuck there? I see, that's the thing, is like, how do we know? I think when people blame or throw tantrums, things like that, like you could say like they're acting like a child, you know what I mean? But as far as like the trauma goes, I can't say for sure. It just depends. Now it will affect, kind of, it'll show up in ways of whether it's like, their attachments, or like let's say they didn't have their mom around, then when it comes to like that nurturing and things like that, they'll just have trust issues and will have to rely on themselves for, that nurturing, because the mom wasn't there, for example. Um, but I don't think that like you're stuck. I think your healing is in your control, especially when it comes to trauma. But something I wanted to ask you, Dusto, was, if let's take two people. One person went through all of this, all these problems. They were mistreated. They didn't get the job that they wanted. All these things. Just had a rough life. And then there was another person who, we could say, everything was pretty good. They're a happy person. Everyone liked them, whatever. Just two like different scenarios, positive and negative. Where do you think those people are?
Interesting question. For the most part, as a whole, people who
Mhm.
are prepared to do what they were prepared to do,
Mhm.
people who were obstructed, the obstruction stops them from doing what they were supposed to do.
Mhm.
And outside factors such as society
Mhm.
and how people are, there are more things to keep you obstructed than to push you into doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
The problem is, the upsetting thing is, for example, I'll admit it, I had two parent household.
Mhm.
Never came home when the lights cut off. There was green grass in the driveway. I grew up pretty
Yeah.
decent. I don't have a lot of trauma. Therefore, I was prepared to go and be okay person.
Yeah.
Somebody over here wasn't prepared, and they may or may not be an okay person. But I try to share with them that the things to come and be okay are attainable.
Mhm.
They're the same. Um, the actions are fairly the same.
Mhm.
And they can't, and it's frustrating when they say, almost to the point where they don't believe the actions. But still, the actions are still the same. Just like with fitness, less calories, more workout, water, lose weight. It's
Mhm.
the same formula. No matter if you're traumatized, bruised, doesn't matter. But
Right.
the person can't receive it, they won't do the action because of something that they believe and it may not be true. It's frustrating, but
Correct. And
it's
the person who
accurate.
had the better life too. Go ahead.
My opinion is a person who's going to have a better life is a person who chooses and acts to have the better life.
That's bingo, because what I just said, person 1, person 2, that's the same person. What are they focusing on?
Though there are outside factors and inside factors and factors and factors, the formula is still the same. The game doesn't change.
What are you focusing on?
True.
Right? Like,
They don't like hearing it from me, though.
what do you mean?
The person who, if you're running 4 laps around a track, the person who has a head start versus the person who has to start from the back and just came off a toe injury.
Yeah.
Still, if you run 4 laps, you run a mile. If you have to run 4 laps plus a little bit more, you still ran a
Mhm.
mile.
Yeah.
And if you're ably walking, you can probably run a mile. But in their mind, they can't run the mile. But the
Right.
other person decides that they're going to run the mile and they do it.
Yeah.
But
And they
over
also
history,
probably
people had one leg that ran a mile some kind of way. Just saying.
and it's like, well, what? And if you're cool with it, Dustin, we can drop the link if anyone wants to come up and talk about this. Or and also too, like I a lot of people don't want to hear this stuff, but I'm willing to go there. I really am, because what we tell ourselves about the past, we literally get to tell ourselves whatever we want. Like there's no rule that says you have to think this about your past. Like I could think, well, I went to school and I'm not even using my degree. But at the same time, you know what I can also think? The way that I went to school and the path that I took led me to where I am now, where I found life coaching, and I found it changed my relationship completely, transformed everything for me. So it's like, what do I want to look at? I'm actually happy that things went exactly as they were supposed to. Right? But it's like, what are you it's optional what you want to make your past mean, and that's going to determine your future. What do you think about that?
I think that people should lie to themselves to see if they can prove themselves wrong.
Yeah, we're lying to ourselves anyway when we say we can't,
Actually, when you
right?
say you can't, you can actually be telling the truth because your actions go and reflect that you can't because you don't.
Right. So if you can,
You can lie to
if you're
yourself and
lying
say
to
you can't and go and be
you're
the
right
person.
either way.
Right.
Now it
But
might take some work, but
yeah, lie to yourself and prove yourself wrong. Like I was talking to, I was in my 20s with a family member who's overweight, complaining about, hey, you always go to the gym. And you see, if you like that stuff and dude, you're overweight, come to the gym with me. Well, I know I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to do this. I'm not. And they're complaining. And I told them, all right, I'll tell you what. Come to the gym and complain while you're in there. How about that? Complain all day, but in the gym. I'll listen to everything you got to say.
mm-hmm.
And actually, the person got it and came with me, and they didn't complain because they got it. 80% of going to the 80% of losing weight of working out is getting in the car and going to the gym in the first place.
Yep.
Because
Because
80%
when you're
of
there,
workout.
it's like, oh,
But you can't work out if you're not there. Potato
right.
chips and the TV are gonna call you. But
Especially if you tell
action can
yourself,
trump
right, exactly what he said.
action sometimes can trump your mindset. You run enough, you lift enough, something's gonna happen. Then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, man, I hate this, man. I'm just you need to look like, oh, okay. Just starts a
Mm-hmm.
meaning focus on the activity, the results will come.
Mm-hmm.
Or push for more
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah.
But
And
by yourself.
again, you're lying to yourself anyway, if you really want to look at it. Like when you're saying that you can't, well, how do you know? Have you done it before? No. Well, then how do you know? Right? Ugh, that's something that, just changed everything for me. And I want people to know this, that, okay, well, I've had a past of this and all my relationships haven't worked. And it's like, okay, what does that mean about today? You could also take away what you learned from those relationships. I mean, everything is a lesson, honestly, but it's up to you to decide. You, the viewers, everyone listening, me, Dusto, all of us, it's up to us to decide, because it's going to affect us. Everything that we're thinking is going to create a reaction, and you get to decide what you want to think. I explained the brain last week a little bit, just a little bit, but we have a prefrontal cortex. We can think about our thinking and become aware.
I don't know if we get to decide what we think.
We do.
To a point.
We
I say
do.
to a point.
Okay.
Like
Like the unconscious stuff or the subconscious stuff rather.
my friend passed. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, died in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
He was here Friday. Friday he was here. Saturday he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way on Sunday that I'm not going to be able to think of. Oh, just turn it off and think about the game. No,
No, but it does though. You don't want to. That's where people
I
get
wasn't
it
able
wrong
to.
too.
I
Yeah,
don't.
you
I
don't want to
was not
though.
able to.
And you don't want to either because your friend just passed away. Like you want to you want to be sad and just I mean, I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? It's
Well, I
like,
don't think I was able to. As far as thinking,
yeah.
I wasn't able to think about something different. There's nothing I could have done to turn my brain off and say, "Well, just focus." 5 minutes,
No.
10 minutes, yes, but that's what I mean as far as the
I
choice to
think
think about something.
I think you could, but I don't think anyone would want to in the sense that like if I held I have to keep it YouTube friendly. Like if someone was like threatening you, I don't even know how they would prove this because like it's your thoughts, you know what I mean? Like a brain scan or something. But the thing is you wouldn't want to. Like I don't think anyone it's possible, but I don't think because for example, there's people that we know that die all the time that we don't even have a thought about. The reason is because of your relationship and your friendship and how much he meant to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that make sense? Like that's
Well,
why you have all like you have those thoughts. Like you want to though because you love this person. That's
well,
why you felt the way that you did.
during that week after or during
Mhm.
those days, I would go for a run.
Mhm.
I'd run and tire myself out just so I could be able to go to sleep that night. And I had to do
Mhm.
that like 7 days straight just to be able to sleep because I wasn't able to think of it. That was a way of forcing myself not to think and move on and forcing myself to be able to go to sleep. But it was to that extreme. Like that was all I could think about. I don't believe
Do
I was
you
able to think something different.
do you think like did you and it's hard sometimes to like even like create to remember maybe, but do you think you like allowed yourself like consciously the space to like instead of like maybe because when you were running were you were trying to like think of get it out of your mind a little bit, is that right? Like to
And
distract a little bit.
pretty much that was all I was able to do is distract,
Yeah.
deflect, and I could buy 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, and that was it. But
Yeah.
then it's right back to this is what's going
Yeah.
on. I couldn't turn it
and
off.
and I think where we do ourselves wrong in a way is like where we don't allow ourselves like to because it's uncomfortable, right? Like that internal feeling, that emotion is
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I mean, this is a very serious thing, but it's like we don't take a second to allow ourselves like actually I'm going to allow this because I want to feel this way and this is normal. Like I don't want to push this away, you know what I mean? And then like because if you were like trying to like tire yourself out, it was like maybe shoving it down like a beach ball, shoving it down, but it was still going to be there because like you weren't like allowing it, you know what I mean? Am I making sense?
Yeah. Like.
It got to be survival. It was almost like survival. I have to go to work. There's only
Mm-hmm.
I worked at a new job. I was there 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Then over that weekend, he passed away. It's a
Mm-hmm.
new job. It's just whatever. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
You
take
also don't
6
have
weeks
enough
off.
time built up to take off.
So how do
Right.
I survive? That was a means of survival. Let me
Yeah.
burn myself out, clear my mind so I can go to sleep so I can function. And I was useless at work anyway,
Yeah.
like half
Um,
that time.
yeah.
But one supervisor
Um,
knew why, and it was cool.
this is something we definitely talk about. I don't want to keep beautiful
You're
animation in the
good.
dark. No, this is good. We this is interesting. How are you? What you got? What you think about what we've been talking about so far?
Now, as far as the like when you're dealing with loss and you cut off that emotion and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to get back to it if you do that. You know what I'm saying? Like once
Yeah.
you cut, like you purposely cut yourself off from like mourning, you may not be able to mourn that individual for a long time, and then it's like you're suffering from it because you never mourning is a release. If you don't allow yourself that release, then you're kind of trapped.
Well, why do people drink? Why do people do drugs? Whatever. Because some of the emotions from just being a human suck. It's like, why do people want to escape them? Because they suck. They just don't feel good, you know? But so it's like, but if you don't allow it, which still is going to suck, it's still going to be there. It needs to be dealt with, you know, and
Right.
especially when it comes to trauma, things like that, definitely seek a professional. But yeah.
And see, for me, I'll get, I wouldn't feel necessarily sad when people will die that were close to me. I'll get angry. You know what I'm saying? Like just, you know, that's why in 2020 when my cousin died, whatever, it was
Mhm.
really fucked up that the funeral director instigated a fight with the family. I'm just like, and then my
Wait.
uncle passed away. Yeah, because they lied about her condition, like what she looked like and stuff like that. They said she had was discolored and she was actually disfigured because of decomposition. They had she wasn't refrigerated for 3 days. So when
Lost
we
it.
finally see the body the day before the funeral and stuff like that, where I was supposed to be fixing her makeup because it was only supposed to be discoloration. I'm
Mhm.
like the first one at the casket. And I'm just like, this isn't my cousin. Like
Mhm.
I literally did not recognize her. That's how much she had. That's how badly she was disconfigured and stuff like that. And it's like,
Mm-mm.
uh, I said that tempers and craziness they run in my family, and this is the side of the family that runs heavily in. And um, I always say, I say that it's like the situations I'm put in shows me that there is a God because He protects me.
Mhm.
Because someone had to snatch me before I got to the funeral director.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and when they had pulled me, I don't feel myself. I don't know about other people, but I don't feel myself blacking out. I can
Yeah.
only tell when I'm being pulled out of it because I can feel the reverse, the reversal of it, whatever.
Like them grabbing you, you
And
mean?
you don't have to necessarily grab me, but my aunt did, which was my cousin's mother. Um, but you can just lay your hand on me because I'm not
Mhm.
going to hear you if I'm blacking out, or
Okay.
if
Like the
I've gone
physical
into full
touch.
blackout, right?
Mhm.
Because I've never been in the habit. I don't know what it is about my mental programming or whatever, but I I have never hurt an innocent person. The only
Oh
one who
yeah,
gets
yeah.
hurt is my target.
Mhm.
So if y'all are not in the fight, you can literally put your finger on me
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'll stop because I'm not trying to
Yeah.
hurt you. And that will also break me out of my trance.
Right. And I
Um,
wonder, and that could be too,
yeah.
like, because that situation
And
is
then with
F.
loss,
Like,
you feel abandoned, and that was the thing that was going around the family too. Like it's
yeah.
like you left us. That was my thoughts, and that was my cousin's thoughts who was saying it out loud, and it's like dang, cuz you left us, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like abandonment, even though you know logically that's not true, but emotions aren't logical.
Right. Right. Well, and we're gonna have emotions either way. It's like
Hmm.
sometimes, like, like, like death and things like that. Those are like the tougher ones for sure. But it's the ones that the, what we're thinking that's illogical, and then we have emotions because of that. That's where we get ourselves into trouble from doing stuff that we shouldn't be doing, like, acting a certain way, or we're just putting ourselves through emotional suffering that doesn't need to be there in the first place because we're thinking like stupid as shit. Like, oh, this person like won't let me over, when we're driving. Oh my gosh, he's such an, rude, whatever. This literally was like, I was so pissed one time. I wanted this is why I have to check myself all the time. I check myself. But I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go follow this person in Kroger and be like, didn't you see me trying to get over? And then I thought for a second, sometimes someone will have their turn signal on and like on next to me, and I won't even realize it until it's like, oh shit, like my bad. I didn't even see your turn signal. I would have let you over. Could have been that for him. I don't know. But I know I didn't go follow him after that because I was like, oh shoot. You know.
Girl, I feel like I'm playing football when I'm driving and stuff like that. Like I'm the blocker for
Hmm.
like the 18 wheelers. Like I would literally like block other cars so they can get over because people are
Hmm.
assholes with these big trucks
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They know that
Yeah.
they have blind spots and they want to, oh, it's all about me. I'm gonna speed up and go, take up the spot or whatever. And it's like
Hmm.
I'm blocking, I'm blocking.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Which is good.
To
I
be
really appreciate
courteous.
that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. Because
It's like
not
stuff like
everybody's
that.
looking out for them. Yeah.
Right. What do you think,
And
Gusto?
um yeah, with my past and stuff, I've heard plenty of people be like, "Wow, you had a crappy ass past or whatever." And it's like you're always smiling and so energetic and stuff like that. And, it's like I just don't let things change me as a person and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I love to have fun and love to laugh and smile and stuff like that, that's why I still stay looking young. Cause smiling is the exercise for your face.
Yeah.
But positivity and stuff like that, that's what's gonna help you live long. That's what's gonna help you stay young and youthful and stuff like that, inside and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I mean, what do we think happens to people that have amnesia? What about their past?
Man.
Real amnesia or fake amnesia?
Real amnesia. But for the sake of conversation.
You
I
don't forget.
couldn't.
You don't forget. You can forgive and move on, but you don't forget what happens in the past.
No,
What do you mean?
I've forgotten
Sometimes,
things in the past, but they've eventually resurfaced. But
Wait. Yeah, laughter is good. Wait, Dusto, what do
um,
you mean?
sometimes it may not have the big effect, and you just get over
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
because it really didn't affect you as much. Sometimes you fought your way through it. Sometimes, longer story short, you remember.
you're
But
what?
like, what
If
do you
it was a
remember?
real trauma, if it was something really traumatic, you're gonna remember.
Yeah, for sure. But
Like for that reason, because when you were asking about alcohol and drugs, um,
yeah.
supposedly a big cause of a lot of people using drugs is to
Mm-hmm.
try to hide from either their past or hide from something in their present. When they smoke this,
Mm-hmm.
snort this, or inject this, they get to take their mind somewhere else that doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
let them experience what they're experiencing now or experience that trauma from the past. It's
But
really a
let me
lot,
ask,
But
what
but
that's different, right? I mean, that's like uh like escaping through drugs
is
and
temporary?
your mind
they'll take
actually
they'll settle
actually
for temporary.
blocking that memory, that traumatic memory, are two different things.
Well,
Like when you
it's
when
false.
you stop doing when you
The
stop
drugs
doing
are
the
false.
drugs, right?
Yeah.
The drugs are false. It's temporary and
Hmm.
stuff like that. But
Right. And
with
it
the
has
mind
net negative
itself,
consequences.
you
Right,
never
because
know
now
when
you
that
got
memory is
trauma
gonna come
and you're a
back.
drug addict.
Well, the thing is too is things that we want to remember. Um, because the brain is similar to a muscle in the things that, we give a lot of attention to, like the thoughts, in school or whatever, we're going to remember repetition, whatever. But if we don't really I'm using this as an example. If we don't read something, over and over, if we don't attach or associate meaning to it to strengthen that memory, eventually like the brain is going to think it's irrelevant, like this isn't important, so I'm not going to remember this thing. The pathway isn't going to be that strong. But when it comes to like another memory, um well, what do you want to associate with that memory? Because you get to decide. Like, give me an
Um,
example. Go ahead.
you're not gonna forget a major trauma. You don't have that. You're gonna remember.
You don't know. You don't want to,
No,
and you probably don't want to forget, right? Like, but what do you want to think? Okay, let me give an example.
I'm just gonna
Sorry,
say
I
that's
always
not
just,
true for everybody.
well, yeah, and I'm not saying you want to forget, but, for example, again, this is all optional, but I'm just letting people know that it's available to them. So with my I don't even know what's trauma or whatever, but for example, my niece diagnosed with leukemia when she was 2. If I if my mind wants to go there, it'll go there. Like, hey, CBM, it'll think of all these just horrible moments, during her treatment, and like all these different like images. But I'll never forget that, for sure. I'll never forget that. But I also get to attach what I want to remember about it. Does that make sense? Like, what do I want to take away from it? It happened, and I'll never forget it. Yeah. Especially with
Yeah,
all the memories I have associated with it. But one thing for sure that I'll never forget and that I want to think about it is how strong my sister was, or how strong my niece was. My niece wouldn't take eye drops last week. She's 7. She said she'd rather do labs. Like, she's so strong. She wouldn't do eye drops, but she's okay with doing, she had all the needles and stuff or whatever. And of course she was 2, but I'm like, girl, you're crazy. Just a damn eye drops, you know? So it's like things like that. So it's like that event happened, but I don't want my memory to be of it. And I also remind myself sometimes too that if I can get through that, why am I being such a baby bitch with what I have on my plate right now? You know what I mean? Like, this isn't anything compared to what I went through then. Does that make sense?
mm,
Like, in that approach. Dustin,
yeah,
why
but
are you furrowing your eyebrow?
my
Because
what I'm saying is
I
that
kind of miss it because I'm just thinking about a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
A 2-year-old, I don't
Mm.
know.
now
What?
what I'm saying what I was saying is that you know something traumatic happens, your mind does block that memory to protect itself.
Right.
So that's why I say it's not that it's not true for everyone that they're going to remember every traumatic
No.
or the most traumatic situations that has happened to them because the mind does things to protect itself.
Well, yeah, and you're right. Hey, CBN, that's why my sister had to go through something called EMDR, because she was basically in fight or flight the whole time, just trying to, get through it to make sure that, my niece was all the rest, like the logistics, all that stuff. But she didn't get a chance to process it. So then later on, she went back and saw, and this is actually a clinical thing, and to basically it's called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So it's really, effective for PTSD and things like that. So people should look into it. It was very effective for her. So like all of the coaching that she had been exposed to couldn't work because she hadn't really processed what had happened, what she had witnessed as a parent of her 2-year-old. You know what I mean? So that is definitely, you're right. Like that's what the brain will do. But, and again, I'm not saying people want to think rainbows and daisies about terrible things. Like, no. But if you had a relationship where a guy that did this or that, okay. Do you want to think that this is going to happen again and think that every guy is going to do this to you? Because you don't have to. Right? Like, Dusto, what you got? You're perplexed.
I'm just taking it in.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna say it.
I want to hear what you
Some
think.
trauma is optional. Some trauma different traumas require different things.
For sure.
A woman I may date pissing me off, it's not major trauma to me. Just go get another one, or just go think about one that didn't. This woman here was a defect. Go get it. Not a problem.
Yeah, but you don't have to go get a new one to get over it, is what I'm saying.
At this point, pretty much.
No, you don't.
When I didn't know in my 20s, I didn't know nothing. There's so many times where I'm calling up somebody, hey, man, I met this one. Oh, man, this one. Man, you can't believe this girl I met the other day. Find out, call her one time. I don't feel like talking. And just nothing. And I'll be all hurt. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh. My 20s, because I didn't know nothing. 28, 30. It's just, okay, she ain't talking nothing. Let me call somebody else. But
why would you call someone else?
About it?
Like, what were you thinking about this person?
Well, what I didn't understand at 20 was just part of the game. Just who people are. I didn't know that. I thought it was something different.
Right.
At 30,
it's a thought.
This is just who people are.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
These two people. One of them is somebody. One of them ain't nothing. That's just how it works. This one I call, they ain't nothing. Cool. Delete. Talk to the other. Move forward. But when I was 20, I ain't know nothing. I thought I was the end of the world. Thought I found me the one. Just go to super high, then crash and burn.
And it doesn't have to be that way. That's what I'm like trying to. That's what. Well, right. Which is, not gonna like shame your past self for that, because a lot of things we didn't know, But it's like we do this to ourselves now, though. Like, even for example, if a relationship didn't work out, I mean, this sounds like very redundant, but if a relationship doesn't work out, you don't have to feel better by going to find someone quickly, whatever. Like, in that moment, okay, yeah, it's shit what happened. Okay. Like, this person, like, no one expects for this to happen, that person to do that, whatever. Okay, so take what I want from it, I'll learn whatever, but I'm not going to make that, like, if I'm picturing like a highlighter with that experience and like highlighting the rest of my life with that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do that. Put the highlighter down.
Yeah. It's easier to the
I know it is.
Dealing with trauma.
Just like going to the gym, Dusto.
I get it, but to some people, that trauma ruined it all, and they can't. I mean,
but that's what they're telling themselves about it. Now, I want to be careful with the word trauma, because obviously, I'm not talking like abuse and stuff like that. Like, that's a whole different thing. But past things that sucked, for sure, we all have them. it's not that simple, but it's better than what we're doing right now, and also making our future pretty bleak.
I mean, I get it. Like a family member of mine was in college. I was in the
Mhm.
army, so I wasn't there, and they were on scholarship. Cool,
Mhm.
and they were the king of the world. Parents talked, "Oh, he got this scholarship. He's so great." Then into the third or fourth year, they fail one class, then they fail again and lose their scholarship. And he just broke down, nervous breakdown,
Yeah.
pretty much. I wasn't there. But then I come home from the army, I find out that's what it is. And it ain't the same. Then they passed the class. Took him 3 times, it passed. Then he
Right.
graduated a year later. Instead of 4 years, it took 5.
Okay.
But he
Right.
graduated. But in this person's mind, if I bring up that class they failed, if I even say it today, they're just, oh, it left that
Stupid.
sour of a taste. I'm like, you don't ever have to go back. It's done. You've accomplished. The degree's hanging on the wall and your master's degree. It's dead. But in their mind, it's still living and the book is sitting right over there. I don't
Yeah,
understand
that's
it. But to them, it's what they understand.
but that's a
I don't
choice
get
is what
it.
But
I'm
that's
like
all you
trying
have to
to.
understand is that it's affecting them. You don't have to understand why it's still affecting them, but understand that they are being affected and
Yeah, I
expect
understand it
that.
Yeah,
being
You know what I'm
affected,
saying?
but I'm more of a
but they're
problem solver. I'm more of a problem solver. It's like
Yeah.
another something traumatic. I was in the
Yeah.
army. Hey, you got wisdom teeth. You got 4 of them. Cool. You need to get them pulled. Cool. You can get put to sleep, local anesthesiology, or you can have them pulled the easy way. You know what? Let me go down the hill to the dentist, get them pulled. This is a military dentist, and I'm in the military. What does he do?
yeah.
Rub the Novocaine. Wouldn't man? He probably used
No
barbecue.
injection.
Well, he never rubs Novocaine and he taps me. Can you feel this? I'm like, yes, because I could. Then he sticks me with the needle. I'm screaming because I can feel it. You're being a baby. Now, civilian
Yep.
dentist, I could punch him in his nostrils. But
Right.
military, I'll be in a jail. This is an officer. I'm an E2.
Right.
He's an O6. He snapped his fingers and I'm in jail. Then he pulls the tooth and I feel it all.
Oh gosh.
I can feel it. Yeah.
You have nice
And
teeth, though. Remember I said that earlier?
oh, thank you for the ladies,
The
But
Vaseline, I was kidding.
I can feel like still thinking about it. The thing that makes it upsetting is I couldn't sucker punch him. That's the only thing that would have fixed everything if I could have karate chopped him in his nostrils.
All right.
But just one time.
But would it
But I
have?
remember what would have solved the problem.
An eye for
Right.
eye.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have. What would have happened then? You've had
If
a
I could
hurt
have,
tooth, and then
if he was a civilian, yeah, I could have popped him one good time.
would that
But
have even helped though
military, no.
either? Like really, at the end of the day, would it have stopped the pain in your mouth?
I could have transferred some to his.
You're stupid. Hey, I want to say real quick.
He's like, share the
But
pain.
in that mindset,
Cody is
thinking
speaking.
about
Hello.
it, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
In that moment, or me thinking about that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was so upsetting. I can still feel like sucker punching him. Like if he was sitting over there, I might just get off and dust his melon off one good time. But it was the past. I got my teeth. He probably ugly somewhere. I can let it go. But in that moment, I could, I remember what it was.
Yeah,
Somebody else,
really,
my
that's
brother,
still malpractice. Even
my
though he's
brother or
working
cousin or
in the
somebody else is
military,
telling me.
that's malpractice.
I just wanted to dust it. I mean, just one.
No, dust off.
Just one.
Dust off. I understand because I
Talk
wasn't
about
able to
self-control.
dust off the damn funeral director, okay? And that would have made me feel great if I just gave him the beat down that he was asking for. But no, I was stopped.
So
But I was able
again,
to get over it. But if I put myself in that picture, I remember the agitation, but I'm able to just
How
not,
do you
what, I'm
remember
not
right now?
Hmm?
How do you like? What is
How do I
allowing
remember?
you to? Yeah, what's allowing you to kind of like be in that space right now, like where it's affecting you in the sense that like you're like, oh man, I wish I could have. Like, how is this coming up for you right now?
I'm a little different. I can think about it and I can find comedy. I can
You're
find
thinking
some
about it. That's the
overcome.
point,
But when I think about it and put myself there, then
right?
I go back to the same agitation and wanting to karate chop this dude in his eye sockets.
For sure.
But I can
But
I can
go
go
ahead.
there and then I can come back out.
Yeah,
My cousin
because
who was failed out of school, he can't
what
come
allows
back
you to
out
come
when
back
he puts his
out?
line. Hmm?
But that's because what's allowing you to come back out from that experience? Like when you're thinking about it, you go there and you said, but I am able to come back out. How are you able to come back out? What do you think?
Um, I'm able
Where
to
you're
come
not
back out.
like searching for this dude, like, oh, I gotta get him. Like, let me find where he is, whatever. What do
I
you
just
think? So
moved on.
after all,
I know where my
what?
motherfucker is.
I just moved on.
I know, but what were you thinking of? What are you thinking about it, Dusto, right now? Like, you're done
Well,
telling the story.
I can say I moved on, but then again, I remember that same trauma, that same whatever. It was little and petty. When I got out the army, I moved back to Virginia, and I went to the PX or the base exchange,
Mhm.
and I was feeling good. I ain't in the military no more. People might tell me nothing. What I didn't know is yes, they can. I could still get in trouble because I was on what's called
Oh,
terminal leave,
oh,
which
yeah.
means I'm out. I had 50 days of leave, and I came home early, and I'm still on leave until the date that I get out. I go to the
Mhm.
base, and there's a captain or something about an '05 or '06, way up there, arguing me over parking lot or something in the parking
Mhm.
lot or where I parked. You ain't supposed to be parking. I'm like, man, I ain't in the military. Get the hell up out my face. That was
Yeah.
actually the reason why I was acting like that from the dentist in the tooth. And truth is, man, it was stupid, and I could have got myself in some trouble. It was dumb. It was petty.
Why? So why are you not doing anything about it today?
I moved on. This
No, but why though?
doing anything? No, I moved on. That's petty stuff. That's not my
But
life.
why? But why? What's your reason?
For not doing anything about it,
Yeah.
it doesn't have an effect on me. I'm good.
But why?
I made a decision to move on.
Sorry.
I made a decision a
Like,
long time ago to move on.
but why were you able to move on versus that could have happened to someone else and maybe they would have busted him in the mouth? Why did you just decide to move on?
Because then I had other consequences. If I karate chopped the
Okay.
dentist, removed a couple of his teeth, then I go to the brig, and I might eat today, I might eat tomorrow. You don't know. It's military jail, a little different. Then my cellmate, he might be 6'4", 320, and that's a problem. So now I just added
Okay.
on to the problem and made the whole problem worse.
Okay. So
It's
those
disciplined
were like your
decision.
reasons. Those were your reasons for making that decision. Again, those are still thoughts. So it's like, what do you want to think about this situation?
The conversation. Like I was
What?
just thinking, I was just referring to a trauma,
No,
something
no,
small.
I know, but I'm using it as an example. It's a great example. Um, Missionary Mike, hello. He says, let me find out Duzzo got real life hands. Oh, I love the face that you make. Like, but again, it's like these situations. So we could, consider it a trauma, whatever, but also maybe you could think about it. Wow, that was a time where I was like this close to hitting this dentist, this military, whatever you guys want to call him or whatever, and I didn't. That's how I want to think about it.
Don't let this.
Don't why does so you still want to be his dentist?
I'll put it this way: To answer that question, I'm mature enough that you could bring him by and I can let it go and just say, you know what, I could laugh about it and let it go. But the week after that it happened, if it was no cameras and it was a dark alley, it would have been on.
Again, right. Well, again, it's like, what do you want to focus on? That's like the biggest thing that I want, people to know is like, and I brought this up, the other day with the yellow car example. What you focus on, you will find. You will create. That is how we self-sabotage. And I think
That's
most
true.
people, accept that. So that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
your past, if you are believing that, okay, I mean, there's just so many examples we could use of this. And we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it, but if
Because we're
I
all human.
consider, yeah, for sure. It's like, but bringing some of this to your awareness is going to help you in the long run. So you're not shooting yourself in the foot, by thinking, okay, I'm bad at math because I have all these different reasons. So I'm not going to retake this math class. It's like, where your friend, I had the same exact example actually, where I retook it and I passed and got an A. But if I told myself, I can't do it, I'm not going to do it, I have all this this evidence, well then, someone could say, wow, you wasted 50K on your degree. Yeah, that's true, but I don't look at it that way because it wasn't a waste.
Mine was a waste. I'd sell it if I could. But go ahead.
You undermine all my examples. That was good. But, it's just hard because when we believe something that necessarily isn't a fact, because our thoughts are all of our opinions, they're our thoughts, whatever. Hi, Army vet and Lee. But it feels uncomfortable to believe something different. Like we said earlier, lying to yourself. But would you rather lie to yourself in a way that's useful or to keep lying to yourself the way that you are now? Because either way, they're both optional.
Good question. I'd rather lie and it be useful. I've done it before and it works. It's better
And it's not even really a lie. It's just a thought. What you get to decide. Like what meaning you want to.
I've always felt better losing putting up a fight than losing because I didn't put up a fight.
Yeah, like striking out, you go down swinging versus watching.
Yeah.
Right. And we by basically having certain thoughts about the past and not being cognizant of those in what we're thinking about things now, we're basically going into our future just watching a meatball down the middle. I hate that word for a nice pitch, a meatball, but it's so gross. So gross.
What? People like meatballs?
I want to know the origin.
Meatballs are good.
Yeah, they are. but you know what I mean? It's like, would you rather go down watching or just swinging, That's what I want people to know the most, especially when it comes to relationships. How many people are there in this world? Like, you only got to get it right once.
Easier said than done.
It's
just like the gym, Dusto. But
I'm willing to swing, though.
You say what? You're willing to what?
I'm willing to swing, but you're right. Got to get it right once, but it's easier said than done.
You just got to go to the gym once, like what?
What you say?
I say I'm a swinger, but I don't know if that sounded right.
Oh. Just once.
I'm a swinger, but
yeah,
not everyone's worth it either.
Yeah, and that's true.
Now I had to learn that too, because
again, like
when I was younger,
what are you?
It's like
what are you focusing on?
It.
Like, do you want to focus on the ones that what's possible? The ones that could be worth it. Like that feels the approach is much better, or at least it feels better when we think about it's like changing your frame of reference. Do you want to focus on this or do you want to focus on this? Like which one?
Yeah.
Because you're going to feel that if if we focus on all the people that aren't worth it, that's just wasted energy, I feel like.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
don't focus on people who are not worth it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
not worth my time or energy, and I'm done with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep on pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm a little different. Like, I hear a lot of dust on the panels. There's a lot of dust.
Yeah, there is.
But people
I
are
got super
asking,
sleeper for that.
because I crack a lot of jokes and do a lot of comedy. It's like, well, you hate women. No, that's not true. Well, look at you. You one of us. No, I'm not. Well, what was your experience with, like, look, the stuff you're talking about, women busting your windows, dragging you in and out of the courtroom and all? I don't have those experiences. I don't know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't dealt with that. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and say I had every lady. I just looking all and 50 ladies come line up. No, I've shot plenty of air balls. I've had hung up and not call whatever rejection or take some L's. But I haven't had all these dramatic, crazy stuff happening. I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
So my thoughts of who women are, most of them are garbage. I'll say that. But
Yeah,
I don't want
I
to
mean,
talk
yeah.
to them. I'm only looking to them like, I thought you might have been something. You're not. So let me go talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
A pretty woman is just a pretty woman until you talk to her. Then, okay, she's pretty and employed. Okay, she's pretty and nice. Pretty and nice with no kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a sorting process. And
Right.
I don't have all this, these women ain't this, and these women, all of them are, or last 5 times. I don't have those experiences.
Even if you did, though, I could ask that person, and you know how bad sometimes I want to is like go up on these panels and ask, but it's not a right place
You're
environment for
wasting
that.
it.
I
You're
know,
wasting your
I
time.
wouldn't,
These people ain't listening.
but for example, even if you did have those experiences, if I ask you, can you think of 3 women who were actually decent
Some
and it
people will
didn't
tell
work
you
out?
no. Some
And I would
people actually
say,
will tell you no.
I would say
Because it's easy for them
try.
to say no.
I would say
No,
try harder
some
because
people,
you can.
I get
Remember
it,
what I
but
said the other day
I
on
get
Tuesday's
it, but
show?
then I get it. Uh-uh.
I said, I don't remember what we were talking about, but sometimes for people, it's easier to focus on, again, yellow car. If you're so focused on women being this, you're like blinding yourself from seeing the women who are, it's kind of like gratitude too. There's so much to be grateful for, but if you don't push yourself to be in that place, you're not going to really think about it. I mean,
No, right. Like the
we're
car
all
example was a great example because,
Well,
like, you know,
so yeah.
whatever car like, you get a new car and all of a sudden you see all your cars on the freeway driving with you and stuff, or
Right.
and you had never seen these cars before, or you're looking for an old school car or whatever,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden you start seeing it, whereas you didn't see them before. Yeah,
And
well,
if I ask
it's that
you,
tunnel vision.
it's a
right,
little
and it's
different
tunnel vision of
because,
bad people.
well, here's the deal. Me, I grew up, my parents are married.
Mhm.
So both people being in the house is what I know. They're always there. I can't
Mhm.
imagine it only being one of them. That's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
My sister got married. She was 22. He was 21. They're together. I was in the army, came back. She's engaged. A few months later, they was married. They're
Mhm.
married. They're together. A lot of aunts and uncles, they were together. I don't know. So my initial is people are together. Then I had to learn people being apart. So it's
Mhm.
different
Hmm.
from people who grew up. All these people are crazy and they're apart. And then you're trying to show them that people are supposed to be together. Their
Mhm.
default is people being apart and people being out of control. So even if
Right.
somebody's supposed to be together, they don't know what it looks like because they're used
Mhm.
to, Okay, now they're supposed to leave. Now this is when he flips the car over. Now this is when this. And how are they going to identify something they never seen or don't really know? Then the experience is because you attract a form of what you are. And then society and all the outside factors are people out of control. Their norm is out of control. How do they know what control is?
Right.
They have to be
And
taught
this is
control.
right. So some people say like they start exposing them to, and it also depends on what people want. Like, what are the results that you want? And then exposing them to like what you think about often. That's why visualization and dream boards are an actual thing for a reason. Like, if you don't think about things often, it's not going to be at the forefront. You're not going to think about, so for example, if you want to, lose weight or whatever, but you're not thinking about it, it's going to be so easy to skip the gym and eat something bad. But if you're thinking about the results that you want, you're going to remember, oh yeah, I'm not going to pick up this donut because I'm remembering that I want to drop this weight, So you have to like reinforce it often. Put it at the forefront, whether you have to put sticky notes up around your freaking house. I don't care. It doesn't have to be cute.
I'm just fairly understanding of different levels of
Oh, it
brokenness.
can be. You can have like different colored post-its and stuff.
Yeah, I understand
You already
different levels
know.
of brokenness. So I don't tell people that they can get from 1 to 10, but
Oh,
I
for
do tell them
sure. For sure.
they can get from 1 to 2. And that's all I try to
For
get them
sure.
to do. Can you get from 1 to 2?
So
If
you
they
don't
tell me they
put
can't
like,
do that, nothing I can do with them.
well, first I'd be like, how do you know? But also, do you put 45s on people like on the barbell when they've never lifted before?
No, that's
Don't give
Right.
people hernias.
Right.
That's a hernia right there.
Right.
I remember when I was in 8th grade, I couldn't get that 45s off of. Just go to the gym. I had the bar and I had a 5-pound on each side.
Mm-hmm.
If you would call them donuts,
Yeah.
but that was all I could. But when I try to do legs or something else, or there's a free bench and now I can lift, I got to go to the football players. They had to pull the 45s off because I couldn't get them. I
Oh
couldn't
yeah.
actually get a 45.
Like
I've been there
they
before.
didn't rack their weights, like whoever was done.
Yeah, or if it was that, I can't
Yeah.
get the 45s off.
Yeah.
Most of them saw, okay, this little guy got some heart. Some of them will have something smart to say and some jokes, but I've been there before, so I know the formulas work.
Yeah.
And all I try to tell a person is, can you get from 1 to 2? Can you do something? If you can't do something, and then I can really do. I'm not your trauma. I'm pretty kind of insensitive, but I'm not so patient, and I'm not your trauma guy. That's just not me. I'm an action person.
It's like being a
I'm
trainer though
actually
too.
learning now to try to be a better trauma guy.
Right. We're gonna do final thoughts, but like that, like even with a personal trainer, I've been on the other end where I'm like, I can't lift this weight. I can't. And they're like, go, like, do it. And I do. But that's why when people tell me, there isn't this, or I can't think of someone, it's like, do it. If you can, but you have to have someone. That's basically what I do with my clients is I push them mentally to think about it. Like you will, but you have to have someone to push you. Man, there's so many times I just want to give up, like at the gym, and then they tell me to do it, and I'm like, oh, damn it, But does that make sense, Dusto? I love gym analogies, though, and
Well,
that's the
I'm
thing
gonna keep
too.
making my
Because the
point.
gym is awesome.
Well, Cody is king says the effort is key, and honestly, that's been proven though in many studies. Most people are successful or whatever, they get the results that they want, not from talent, not from innate ability, whatever. It's from grit,
Yeah.
discipline, perseverance, giving up, and doing it again. I just want,
Yeah.
basically everything that I do in general is to show people that there isn't another way and to stop limiting yourself. There's already enough things out in the world that will limit us that we might have to, overcome anyway. But it's like, but don't put an extra barrier on yourself because you believe that you can't. And that's what defining your future based on your past is stupid. Because if you haven't done it in the past, that doesn't mean that you can't do it in the future, or it's not possible in the future. What are your final thoughts, guys?
You go ahead. Go ahead, PC.
By the way, I appreciate you guys for being here with me.
No problem. You know, we're gonna support you.
Thank you all for supporting me.
Always.
Okay.
You know, every time you say you can't do something, you're cutting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at some point when you've cut yourself so much and you're bleeding all over the place, you can't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You can't
like
do anything.
on your desk.
You
The ground.
girl, I have these things everywhere.
Oh my.
But no, once you've let it out, like you have no energy to do
Control.
So stop.
Look at what Missionary Mike said.
Damn trolls.
They must have screen grabbed and they're zoomed in. I won't lie and say that I've looked to see if I could identify what was on your shelves.
Gold blonde foot powder.
Nasal spray, dominoes, a flashlight, tissue, cologne. I'm moving in about a month and a half anyway. Sunscreen, shaving cream.
Yeah.
Just random stuff.
But
yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Seriously, like when you're constantly cutting yourself with your words, because words have power, then you're sucking up. You're draining yourself of your own energy, and then you won't be able to do anything. And then it's going to be harder for you to do things because you have to now build up energy that you sucked out yourself. You know, so stop harming yourself with your words. You know, grow mentally stronger by telling yourself that you can do things and make an effort to do them.
Yeah.
I'm Beautifully Animated. Beautifully Animated Speaks. Also on IG at Beautifully Animated without the Beautifully Animated.
Got some new trolls.
The space on IG.
We gotta clip that shit too.
But yeah, you know, I'll be waiting for y'all in the back.
All right. Thank you, Beautifully Animated. All right, so what are your final thoughts for us?
Final thoughts. Make a decision to win. There's nothing wrong with winning on level 2 or level 3 instead of level 10. But at least know that you tried and you got as high as you possibly could.
It's better than 0.
Everybody takes L's. Everybody gets sore. Everybody gets their butt kicked. Strongest people get up and keep trying. But also find a way to get over your trauma. I'm not your best person to give you the solution.
Therapy.
But there are 2 options. There's do and don't. Those are your only options as far as your action plan. Not doing always doesn't work. So what does it hurt to try something that's actually doing? Go find some people who got the results, who might have a formula, and just ask them for a plan and just do it. Ask somebody to help you and just do what they ask you to do. You'll wake up one day and be a better person and wonder how it happened. That's all I got. Oh, also, those of you who missed the Dusty Sphere, you want to go check out that replay starring Coach K, starring PC below. But go and check that 30-minute show. Quite entertaining. Go and check that out.
every
That's
week
all.
at
The hills are from Jessica Simpson.
yeah. Oh yeah. I was thinking of your name, Shayna, wasn't it, or something like that?
Shayna McLegs. McLegs.
I can't. Oh, but yes, Dusto show every Thursday night at 7, the Justice Sphere. But I'll end with this. Especially if you have trauma or some type of past event with someone who hurt you in some way, don't give them the power over your future too. That's like the last thing we would want to do,
Yeah.
is give it's shame what I can't, but give
Shayna McLegs.
and with the
Certified.
knife too. It's just too much. She still has it.
Like Riddick.
Oh,
So,
you should have. You. Oh gosh, I can't. But yeah, if whatever has happened in your past, I mean, do you want to give that person make them be the reason why you don't get the results that you want with, whether it's a relationship or something, parenthood? Do you want that person to be the reason why you don't?
yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Be very intentional with, again, you get to believe whatever you want, just be purposeful with it. And if you don't have the results right now, you might have to do some checking to see what you're thinking about and what you believe that's possible for you. Because most oftentimes we're putting that limitation on ourselves. So that's all
And
I
don't forget
got.
the like button.
Yes, hit your like on the way out. Thanks for being here. Get your mind right. We'll see you next week on Black Man Unfiltered Network. That's it.
And Friday's veterans, right?
Yes.
About veterans.
Tomorrow's Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Yep. Stay
Hug a
tuned.
veteran.
Yep. Stay tuned for that. All right. I think that's it. Wait for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.